Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into the really dynamic world of sustainable fashion here in the UK. We'll look at what's pushing consumers, the cool innovations happening, and where things might be going. Consider this your quick guide to getting up to speed on this really important shift.
Absolutely. It's a topic that touches all of us, really.
Yeah.
And we're set to sort of connect the dots on how the industry is genuinely trying to move towards a more responsible path.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Sustainable fashion, it definitely feels like it has real momentum in the UK now. What's actually fueling that change on the ground?
The biggest factor is definitely growing awareness among consumers.
Yeah.
People are, really starting to understand the environmental hit from fast fashion. They want something better. Actually, a recent report showed that something like 74% of consumers are interested in dressing more sustainably. But what's interesting is the gap, right? Despite wanting to, many find it, expensive,
Yeah.
or they just struggle to spot what's genuinely eco-friendly.
That's a huge number, 74%. So how are UK brands and maybe consumers too starting to bridge that gap?
Well, we are seeing some great examples pop up. Brands like
Yes.
Yes Friends in Rapa Nui, they're really putting effort into ethical production, being transparent about how things are made. But it's not just new brands. Consumer habits themselves are shifting, quite dramatically, actually. Did you know vintage clothing saw like a 15% rise in popularity just in 2024?
15%. Wow.
Yeah. And it's not just about saving money. It seems to reflect this bigger cultural thing, wanting unique pieces, curated style, rejecting that sort of throwaway culture, particularly with younger people.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. The actual materials and this idea of circular fashion, what's new there?
Right, beyond just habits, the actual science behind the fabrics is, exploding. There's a definite surge in biodegradable stuff, plant-based fabrics, your organic cottons, hemp, tencel, things like that. But it's going further. We're seeing really exciting alternatives like mushroom leather and fabric made from pineapple fiber hitting the scene.
Mushroom leather. Seriously.
Seriously.
Hmm.
And events like the Future Fabrics Expo, that's part of London Climate Action Week, they really showcase these kinds of cutting-edge materials. And this links straight into circular fashion. The whole idea of designing waste out from the start, keeping products going for as long as possible.
So that means things like upcycling, turning old clothes into something completely new.
Exactly that. Or just embracing the secondhand market, which is booming. You see community things, too, like the Emerson's Green Sustainable Fashion Show. It just highlights how this is really catching on, becoming more mainstream.
It's clear there's innovation happening everywhere, but what about technology? How's tech playing a part in making fashion more sustainable?
What's fascinating here is how tech is boosting efficiency. Some brands are using AI for production planning, fabric cuts better, minimizing waste, predicting demand so they don't overproduce.
Okay, that makes sense.
And we're also seeing things like 3D printed clothes emerge. That allows for making things on demand, super customized, basically cuts out excess stock. Now, obviously, these technologies need investment, and consumers need to understand them better, but the potential for sustainability is huge. But, challenges are still there. Price is still a big one for lots of people. And then there's the whole greenwashing confusion, where brands might overstate their eco-credentials.
Right, that makes it hard to trust claims.
It does. So, practical advice for you listening. Look for proper certifications. Things like GOTS, that's the Global Organic Textile Standard, covers organic status and ethical production. And OCOTEX, which checks for harmful substances. Supporting brands that are genuinely transparent, and of course, keeping those secondhand options in mind are really key.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together, what does the future look like for sustainable fashion in the UK? Where's it headed?
Well, the market projections look really strong. It's expected to hit over 1.7 billion US dollars by 2033. This isn't just a passing phase. It's driven by that ongoing consumer demand for ethical stuff and all these advancements in sustainable production we've talked about. Sustainable fashion is definitely shifting, from being a small niche to becoming much more mainstream. It's set to really reshape things.
It's genuinely incredible how fast this whole area is changing consumer attitudes, the materials themselves, the tech involved. It really brings home that our choices do matter.
They really do. That continued support from consumers alongside all this innovation is absolutely vital to keep pushing this positive change forward. Every little choice adds up.
Absolutely. So maybe next time you look at your wardrobe, just think about the real impact of your choices and how you can actually be part of this really exciting, evolving, sustainable story. Thanks for diving deep with us today.